In many situations, online friends remain just that, faceless companions. They're not the family friends or classmates you've known or trusted for years. No matter how well you connect with someone online, it's crucial to treat them with the same caution as you would a stranger. A 15-year-old cosplayer disappears after heading out to meet an online friend to plan their next big event. Her sudden vanishing stuns Malaysia's close-knit cosplay community. But when the police dig deeper, they discover something far more sinister. This isn't just a missing persons case, it's a horrifying murder that leaves everyone shaken. This is the story of the Cosplay Killer and the heartbreaking death of Ng Yuk Tim. Ng Yuk Tim's world evolved around cosplay. At just 15, she had already made a name for herself in Malaysia's vibrant cosplay community. Her social media accounts were filled with stunning photographs of her latest costume creations, each one showing just how talented and passionate she was. It was through these online channels that Ng first encountered Pun Wai Hong. Pun, a 22-year-old man, reached out to Ng under the guise of shared interest in cosplay. Their initial interaction seemed innocent enough. Discussions about upcoming events, costume ideas, and the intricacies of character portrayal. Ng, eager to connect with fellow enthusiasts, welcomed the friendship. Pun, who was much older than Ng, had hidden motives that would soon come to light. The big age gap between them was a red flag, but it got overlooked in the excitement of their shared hobby. The cosplay community, known for being inclusive and supportive, unintentionally played a part in connecting Ng and Pun. Events and online forums made it easy for them to interact, blurring the line between online chats and real-life connections. While this kind of overlap is common in online spaces, it can sometimes lead to dangerous situations. As Ng and Pun's online friendship progressed, the prospect of meeting in person began to take shape. Pun suggested that Ng visited his house to discuss plans for an upcoming cosplay event. The invitation seemed innocent enough, a chance to collaborate on costumes and share ideas face-to-face. Ng, excited by the opportunity to further her passion, agreed without hesitation. On the morning of October 21st, 2013, everything felt normal. Ng got ready to leave her home, excited about the day ahead. She had no way of knowing it would be the last time she'd walk out her front door, completely unaware of the danger waiting for her. As Ng left home that morning, her family had no reason to suspect anything was wrong. She told them she was meeting a friend to talk about cosplay plans, something she did often as an enthusiastic 15-year-old. Her last message to her family was a simple text, letting them know she'd arrived safely. But as hours passed, Ng's usual stream of messages and social media updates suddenly stopped. Her family, used to her being constantly online, started to feel uneasy. They tried calling her, but her phone went straight to voicemail. Texts went unanswered, which was completely out of character for her. As evening approached, Ng's family's concern turned to panic. They reached out to her friends and fellow cosplayers, hoping someone had seen or heard from her. But no one had any information about Ng's whereabouts. The family began a frantic search, retracing her known routes and visiting places she frequently spent time. Ng Yuk Tim's family, growing increasingly worried, eventually tracked down Pun Wai Hong to ask about their daughter's whereabouts. Pun admitted that Ng had come to his house to discuss a cosplay event. He claimed that after their discussion, he had driven her to a nearby LRT station, where she got out of his car alone. According to him, this was the last time he saw her. The explanation didn't sit well with Ng's family. They couldn't imagine her running away without a reason. Knowing how important time was, Ng's family wasted no time filing a police report. They gave every detail they could, her last known location, her phone number, and even her online activities. The police quickly started their standard procedures, sending out alerts and beginning their search. These days, social media plays a huge role in missing person cases, and Ng's case was no exception. It helped spread the word quickly and coordinate search efforts. As the search ramped up, volunteers scoured places Ng was known to visit, looking for anything that could help find her. The cosplay community was relentless, with people even taking time off work or school to join the effort. Their dedication kept the hope alive that they might be close to a breakthrough. Leading the charge was Phun Wai-hong, the last person known to have seen Ng. At first, his involvement earned him praise. He organized search parties, handed out flyers, and actively participated in online discussions about her disappearance. To many, his commitment seemed genuine. But as the days wore on, his actions began to raise suspicions. Kwan Chi-hung, a former police officer turned civilian crime buster, found Phun's account suspicious. Sensing something wasn't right, Kwan pulled Phun aside and pressed him to come clean. The police also noticed a bite mark on Phun's arm, which raised even more questions. They went back and forth with Phun, determined to uncover the truth. The cosplay community, which had once praised him for helping the search, was now in shock. Phun went from being a concerned friend to the prime suspect in Ng's disappearance, and everything changed. At first, Phun stayed calm, sticking to his original claim that he had dropped Ng off at the LRT station. But as detectives presented evidence that didn't line up, like surveillance footage and witness accounts, his story started to unravel. Things got even worse for Phun when physical evidence found at his home directly contradicted his claims, raising serious questions about what really happened that day. The interrogation ramped up. Malaysian authorities used every trick in the book, from direct questioning to psychological tactics, laying out the mounting evidence against him. As the questioning went on, Phun's confident facade started to fall apart. The helpful, composed friend who had been so involved in the search began to crumble under the pressure. His answers became scattered, his story started to fall apart, and investigators noticed traits that often show up in criminals pretending to be innocent: narcissism, a lack of empathy, and constantly shifting blame. Finally, after hours of relentless questioning, Phun broke. In a shocking twist, he confessed to killing Ng Yuk Tim. The details he shared were horrifying, painting a grim picture of what had happened in his home that day. He told the police and her devastated family that he had killed her, stuffed her body into a suitcase, and disposed of it in a secluded area in Kota Kemuning, Shah Alam. Phun led the authorities to the site, where they found a green suitcase hidden among the bushes. Inside, they discovered the lifeless body of 15-year-old Ng Yuk Tim. Her head was bloodied, and her body was curled up tightly in the suitcase, a horrifying end to the search for the young cosplayer. Forensic teams worked around the clock to process the crime scene and examine Ng's body. The autopsy revealed the brutal reality of her death. She had suffered severe head injuries, with at least 3 devastating blows to her skull. While Phun claimed there was a sexual motive behind his actions, the examination showed no signs of sexual assault. As investigators pieced together the events of that day, a chilling story emerged. Ng had gone to Phun's house, completely unaware of the danger she was walking into. What started as a casual discussion about cosplay took a dark turn when Phun made unwanted sexual advances. When Ng refused, things escalated violently. Phun Wai-hong claimed that the incident leading to Ng Yuk Tim's death was accidental. According to him, a struggle broke out after an argument, during which Ng used a stun pistol and bit him on the hand. He said he shoved her in self-defense, causing her to fall and hit her head on a dumbbell lying on the ground. Phun added that his blurry vision, he claimed he wasn't wearing his glasses at the time, prevented him from realizing what had happened right away. Only after retrieving his glasses, he said, did he notice that Ng had struck her head and died. In a panic, he decided to pack her body into a suitcase and dispose of it in a secluded area in Kota Kemuning, Shah Alam. However, the prosecution painted a very different picture. They argued that Pun Wai-hong's actions were driven by anger and frustration after Ng refused his request for sex. According to their version, this rejection escalated into a violent struggle, during which Ng bit Pun on the hand in self-defense. Enraged, Pun picked up a dumbbell and struck Ng on the head. The prosecution contended that he hit her 2 more times, ensuring her death, before stuffing her body into a large green suitcase and dumping it in a remote area. Experts analyzing the case also noted Pun's actions after the murder. Stuffing Ng's body into a suitcase and dumping it showed a clear intent to hide what he had done. Psychological profilers noted that Pun's behavior fit a disturbing pattern seen in killers who target teenagers. His online grooming, manipulation, and eventual escalation to physical violence were typical of predators who struggle with rejection and lack empathy for their victims. The sense of entitlement that led Pun to believe he could demand sexual favors from a 15-year-old girl spoke volumes about his warped mindset. With the truth finally out, all eyes turned to the legal proceedings that would decide Pun Wai-hong's fate. Initially, it seemed justice had been served. In 2018, the Shah Alam High Court found Pun guilty of murder and sentenced him to death by hanging. For many, this verdict brought a sense of closure to a case that had shaken Malaysia. But this wasn't the end of the story. Just a year later, Pun's defense team filed an appeal that would take a shocking turn. On September 12, 2019, the Malaysian Court of Appeal revisited the case. His lawyers argued that Pun never intended to kill Ng Yuk Tim, and in a surprising move, the court accepted this claim. The death sentence was overturned, and Pun was instead found guilty of culpable homicide, a lesser charge. The decision stunned the nation and left Ng's grieving family in disbelief, exposing just how complex and, at times, frustrating the pursuit of justice can be. The reduction in charges led to a dramatically different sentence. Pun received 22 years in jail, backdated to his arrest in 2013. This meant he would serve less than 2 decades behind bars for taking a young girl's life. The prosecution initially appealed this decision, hoping to reinstate the murder conviction and death sentence. However, in an unexpected move, they later withdrew their appeal. They cited concerns that pursuing the case could further result in an even lighter sentence for Pun, and potentially set a harmful precedent for future manslaughter cases. For Ng's family, the final verdict was a crushing blow. Her mother, aunt, and grandfather had hoped to see Pun face the ultimate punishment for his horrific crime. Instead, they were left to confront the painful reality that her killer would eventually walk free. Ng's mother, Sim Yi-ling, shared how her grief remained as raw as ever. Even as she celebrated what would have been Ng's 22nd birthday, the weight of her loss was impossible to ignore. The reduced sentence offered little solace to the family, still trying to navigate the aftermath of such a tragedy. The tragic case of Ng Yuk Tim became a sobering reminder of the dangers lurking in seemingly innocent online interactions. In the years since, schools and community organizations across the country have intensified efforts to educate young people about internet safety and the risks of meeting online acquaintances in person. Despite these initiatives, challenges persist in protecting youth from online predators. The ever-evolving nature of social media and online platforms makes it difficult for parents and educators to keep pace. Predators continue to find new ways to exploit young people's trust and curiosity. As technology advances, so too must our vigilance in safeguarding the next generation from those who would do them harm. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.